Welcome to the WDW News Today podcast. My name is Eric Morton, and with me again, back by popular demand.
So popular.
Here in the co-pilot seat, we have Nick LaCicero.
So much demand. Had to come back. Peer pressured.
I think so. I got, the last episode I think didn't, it hasn't fully propagated through things yet. It didn't get all the views that maybe a little less normal, but I've
make me feel good, Eric.
No, I've received so many calls or texts or DMs of people I really loved that episode with Nick.
Yeah.
So I think you're right there. People love the ones that people sleep on, have slept on so far were this one last week and the one with Hey Bricky. Yeah. And then that one finally, over time has picked up steam. And those are the ones that people message me about. And man, those are good ones. I like those conversations.
I'm just picturing people putting their phone in their bed and sleeping on the podcast.
Don't sleep on the podcast.
Getting comfy with Nick.
Don't sleep with the podcast either.
Getting cuddly with Nick.
Oh, boy. God. I knew it was a mistake bringing you back. As you can see, I got the Tip Top Club shirt.
Yeah, I love it.
They're technically still on pre-sale, but It's possible we're getting boxes and boxes delivered. So we'll be ready to fulfill orders soon. So sometimes when it's pre-sale, people are like, I'll wait till they're actually on sale. Sale is imminent.
Get on it.
Yeah, imminent. Okay. The Gerties are you should see the amount of Gerties we already have packed up and piled. The only problem now is waiting for the post office to live up to their commitment of, hey, if you schedule, we'll come pick them up. And that's turned into if you schedule, we might pick them up. Or we might send a guy in a Nissan Altima to pick up 800 of these things. And then he turn around and come back in a truck, and then nobody comes back the next day. That could be,
Look how cute he is.
Isn't she adorable?
Best. Little Gertie.
Oh, Gertie. She might be sold out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, if you like the shirt, our friends at Park Candy, we partner with them on this. This is that same type of nice stretchy material they have, the lightweight. I mean, this is fresh out of the packaging. No wrinkles, no creases.
Yeah.
It's like that. Yes,
I like it.
It's the good stuff.
I like it.
So go to shop.wdwnt.com, or Jake has a link down there. If you want to make it more complicated, you can go to wdwnt.link/tiptop. But shop.wdwnt.com also works.
Sounds good.
So either way, buy some shirts, help us out. We're all in on these. I think these are the best thing that we've done.
Oh, it's so good.
Gertie and this, two bangers back to back.
That's a great shirt. Great Gertie. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're in a roll. What else can we make, Eric?
What else can we make? Well, we have all kinds of ideas.
Yeah.
Tom and I have a list.
I want a bobblehead.
A Nick bobblehead, a Maxi Van. Maybe we could sell the Maxi Van T-shirts sold out quickly. The Maxi Van bobblehead. My problem is that the people that understand those jokes are the News Tonight, viewers, and our audience at large. So we have, I don't know how many subscribers we have in this channel, but it's it's nearing in on 220,000, I think, and. So that's a broader audience we want to appeal to. I love the idea of Maxi Van stuff. So maybe go to wdwnt.tv when you're at work and you want to goof off and watch some episodes of News Tonight if you never have, and maybe you'll just be a Maxi Van person.
Yeah. I don't appeal to a broad audience. I appeal to a very, very niche audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't know anything about the Maxi Van.
No.
We're going to talk about a lot of Disney stuff.
That's good.
I want to get right into it.
Because last week was too personal. It got very deep.
It was. And, I've been going through it, man.
Deep and emotional.
It was a little deep, a little dark.
We'll say superficial this week.
Yeah.
All right.
Not really.
No?
I don't mind sharing real opinions and things like that, because my opinions when I'm on this show are just my opinions.
Right.
If I go on the news, I try to temper myself a little bit because I'm speaking on behalf of the company. Here, I'm speaking on behalf of me, really. Right? The podcast is more informal. We can back and forth. And I feel more comfortable discussing these topics at length. Some of the topics are difficult to discuss right now, like disability access service that rolled out.
Right.
Some of them more general, right? We have excitement. So there's a lot of stuff coming up in the next few weeks, Nick.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start.
Drones.
I will go, let's talk about the drones.
Yeah.
The drones launch tomorrow.
Right.
The first official drone performance Disney Dreams That Soar
Yeah.
is a spectacular drone show at Disney Springs. Go down to the west side and check it out. I think Saratoga, you can see it, but you don't get the audio.
Okay.
Apparently. We were fortunate enough to get a preview. So we went, and we have a video right here on our channel, and it's gotten quite a lot of attention.
It looks cool.
It looks really
Were you there in
amazing.
person?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
No, 5:30 in the morning? No. What am I, a Run Disney guy? You get up at 3? No, I had to wake up really early this
boy.
morning because Lee had a medical appointment, and that was enough, right? But
I'm excited for the. I like that little plus down at Disney Springs, right? It doesn't, it doesn't hurt anybody to put on a little drone show. It'll be interesting to see how crowds react to it on a busy weekend. Like, is that gonna, like, kind of clog things up, or?
well, there's a lot of issues actually with this.
Yeah.
So you figure there's a large investment to
Right.
do this, right?
Yeah.
And Disney Springs is free to go in.
Right.
So what they're hoping is that this brings people in to make being a Disney Springs tenant more valuable to the companies that lease space from them, right? I'm sure some of them have net leases. They make more money. Disney makes more money, et cetera. I don't know how the Disney Springs leases are structured. Sorry, that's a failure on my part to not understand the deep
dare
real estate
you.
stuff. But they're doing this, obviously. Nobody's paying money to come see this show.
Right.
So they're just going to Disney Springs, and they're just banking on, number one, getting more people down there at night, which night is when I start going, I got to get out of here.
Exactly, right?
But to be fair, late at night, it's Disney. And when I say late, like after 8:30, Disney Springs is kind of dead anyway. You'll see,
On the
like
weekdays, yeah.
it's like a vibe of like too much at 7. Like when the sun first goes down, and people are streaming into Disney Springs, it gets a little too much. Then you go to a movie or something, you come out, and you're like, oh, there's nobody here.
Yeah.
So it's weird, but so they're going to have 2 showings at night, and I think 1, it's going to increase the attendance around Disney Springs. 2, it's going to finally give some life to the west side, right? Mostly the west side has been a lot of foot traffic of people going somewhere else.
Yeah.
So whenever I go to the west side, I feel like it's missing something. They got Cirque du Soleil. They have House of Blues. They have a bowling alley. They have cool stuff down there. But for whatever reason, I feel like that west side is missing like an anchor. And so maybe this will help,
Sure.
increase traffic around. I mean, House of Blues has to be loving this, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But there's a couple problems. Some of these places, Aerophile is going to have to start closing at 8 p.m. now.
Right.
Right? They close normally at 11:30. They're cutting their operating hours, so they're losing money for this drone show. So either they're counting on more traffic leading up to it to make up for that, or Disney's going like, "Hey, we'll cut you a break if you close early." The a couple of the other things are closing early. The amphicars,
Oh,
the
they have to
boathouse.
close?
Yeah, they have to close at 8. The show's at 9. I think the shows are at 9 and 10:45.
Were you going to say the boat to Port Orleans? Is that how it
The
stopped?
Sasagula launches stop now at 8 p.m. and they do not resume.
Wow.
So all the people who are staying at Port Orleans Riverside, French Quarter, Old Key West,
yeah, they have to bus back now.
yeah, even some of the people at Saratoga Springs, although it's walkable from the other side,
Yeah.
they got to make transportation plans because they will not be able to stay, watch the show, and ride the Sasagula boats back to
Interesting.
their resort.
Okay.
You have to hop a bus. So, like, there are some complications that go along with this that will be frustrating for some people, but in general, just to see this, and to see how far drone technology has come in a few short years. I remember they did it at Disney Springs briefly.
Right.
Heck, before I worked here.
Yeah.
I think probably 2019 or
It's a long time ago. Yeah, yeah.
Right? And it was like, here it is. You're like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then it was gone.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl, I remember when Lady Gaga did the Super Bowl halftime show, and she's standing on the roof of the stadium in Houston. It was called Reliant Stadium at the time. God knows how many sponsors it's gone through since then. And you could see something that sort of resembled a Pepsi logo behind
Right.
her when she started singing, but it was like,
I remember wondering if that was like CGI just to us
Right.
or if that was really there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but then Paris did it to great success,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
So I think it is. I mean, I was surprised at some of the some of the figures they were able to make, and they can make them move.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I think, when I look at our comments, they're mostly people going, wow, this is really awesome. Because it is. If you haven't seen it, it's on our channel. Check it out. It is awesome.
It's also what is to complain about. It's a free offering at Disney Springs.
Correct. And some people said, oh, the storytelling, it's just like a slideshow of IP stuff.
Okay.
I didn't really get that deep into it because I was just like, what are they going to do next?
Yeah.
Hey, it looks like there's one red. I couldn't tell if it was one drone with its red light stuck on. It looked like it was. But then later I was like, that might actually be like an aircraft in the background.
Oh.
I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but there was a red light. And you're like, I'm worried about the actual choreography of these drones and what can they do with this technology and what's going to happen next. And, oh, this music is nice and I like the song or whatever. I was more into that than tell me a bedtime story.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I figured this
with the Nighttime Spectacular, I do want a bedtime story, but it feels different.
Well, it does, because I feel like this could lead into, oh, do you see that cool taste of what we gave you at Springs?
Right.
We could now create a park show that really does have, like, I would expect a full story if it was a park, if it was in one of the parks and it was a nighttime show, right? Like,
Sure.
I want that full story. I don't really care if it's just a slideshow at Disney Springs. It's kind of cool. It's not appointment viewing for me to go down there. I'm going to see it probably a couple times while it's there. But I don't need it to be anything more than just a couple minutes of fun visuals in the sky. And if it teases like what, and then they could be like, maybe down the road, hey, we just developed this cool show for studios and you got a taste here, go see a full show over at studios. And then that sells tickets, right, to a new thing.
Right. So I don't think they're going to go all in on this. I mean, they have 800 drones. That's a pretty big investment.
Yeah.
One of the comments was someone asking, like, how many people do they have piloting these? It's just computers, man.
Yeah. Right. That'd be hilarious if 800 people.
Yeah, they got 800 cast members that are all like, okay, everybody, down, left, up, right. Yeah.
There's like a maestro,
Yeah.
like you're organizing them.
But I don't think they're going to go. I think there is an opportunity to go all in and do something like a Glow with the Show or a Magic Band Plus interaction with it. They may or may not do that. There's nothing stopping them from doing it in the parks. The no-fly, they can waive themselves from the no-fly zone to do it. So I can't fly a drone from my house because I'm too close to the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
But they could do it all they want.
Yeah.
I don't think they would do it at Magic Kingdom because they have such a great nighttime spectacular. Epcot, it would lend itself really well to Epcot because Epcot has sort of a backstage staging area that's pretty big.
Sure.
And they could fly over a lagoon and you could see it from all sides and you do three-dimensional figures. But Epcot has a nighttime show. Hollywood Studios has Fantasmic. So people are naturally saying, why don't they have this at Animal Kingdom? I think number one, like, Animal Kingdom's dead at night. Like the sun goes down and people just leave.
Yeah.
Right. They've been there, they've done their things, and they're gone. Maybe the idea is something like this could keep people in Animal Kingdom, but there also might be zoological reasons why you don't want 800 drones buzzing around.
I get that
property, right?
What I would be fine if it wasn't its own show, if they just used it in the way we've actually seen them use it at media events and such. Maybe a Star Wars ship flies over Galaxy's Edge, right? Every once in a while at night. Maybe a Banshee flies over Pandora.
Yeah.
Something like
cool.
that would be really cool. And that would be a good use of the technology without really it being intrusive or really... they don't have to develop a whole show. Like, they could just use it in these little ways that I think would really enhance the experience at all these different parks.
I remember seeing that X-Wing. I didn't even work for the company at the time. I didn't even know WDWNT existed.
Yeah.
But I was at Hollywood Studios. It happened to be the night that they had the media event for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And to hear a rumbling, and I was at Baseline Tap House, where else, right? To hear, like, the rumbling and then see X-Wings rise up and fly away was amazing. I was like, why don't they do that every night?
Right.
But
so
they have good reasons, but too bad.
Do they? I mean, that would be a great use of that technology.
I assume they have good reasons, and they all have to do with money.
Well, yes. Yes.
So I don't know. I think the drone show so far looks like it's going to be a win. It's going to be a big hit. I would not. There's no way I'm going to Disney Springs tomorrow. No way. It's Friday night. It's the first public performance of this drone show. There's going to be, you know how many families are just going to be camped out on the roof?
Yeah.
It's going to look like the infield of a NASCAR race. People sitting on top of their RVs, tailgating.
I wonder, I'm assuming you could see it by just standing on top of the parking garage.
Oh, yeah. You can see it from anywhere.
Yeah.
You might not be able to hear it.
Yeah.
But you can definitely see it. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. For a little while, maybe I might stay away for a little while just because that kind of stuff gives me a little bit of anxiety.
Gotcha.
So, I don't know. So Disney has a lot of stuff going on. So they have this. Then I think one of the next big things coming up is the opening of Lighthouse Point.
Yep.
New island for Disney Cruise Line. I will be on that cruise. Jason Diffendahl will be on that cruise. And I'm excited about it, but I'm a little bit worried. And, in general, just hurrying to think of the Disney Wish, right? When they launched the Disney Wish and they had to cancel cruises because they just weren't ready. Like, I think Disney is just big on these really tight timelines. So they're going to do this. Hopefully they pull it off. They might. I mean, if one company could make miracles happen, you'd think it would be Disney.
If they wanted to make it happen, they have the money to make it happen.
Yeah, well, think about it.
Right? You
are dealing with other countries and their laws and rules and regulations and things that have to clear and be signed off on. I think the Bahamas seems like a country that'd be pretty easy to slick a few palms with a few bucks here and there. That's it. But
wow,
you didn't hear that from me. I just
interesting. No, So you're not concerned about the quality of the island. You're concerned it might not be ready when you go.
Correct. When I go.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. And I think part of the cruise experience is that island. Everybody's got one now, right? And I think people rave about how much they love Castaway Cay, right? Castaway Cay is beautiful. It's lovely. I will say, I've been to Castaway Cay a number of times, and it's great. But Royal Caribbean's Island is way better.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, yeah.
Royal Caribbean's Island is way better. I'm
sure it is. I've never been, but I mean, I see it. I've only ever been on Disney cruises, never been on anything else. So I don't really know the experience of other cruise ships, but I do enjoy my experience every single time on a Disney cruise. And so I'm looking forward to eventually getting to this island.
I think part of it is you think Disney Cruise Line right now, what do they have? 5 total ships, right? At any given time, a couple of them, one of them's in Alaska, one of them's in Europe. You got 3. One of them's maybe coming out of town. You probably only need to have, there's probably only a couple ships. There's a ship coming into that island at Castaway Cay. Let's just say there's 4 or 5 times a week that they get a single ship, right?
Yeah.
Royal Caribbean, I don't know how many ships they have, but it's a lot. So their island infrastructure is set up to accommodate a lot of. There's lots of places to eat. There's lots of food ready at lots of different places. There's
but they're more crowded too, right? Because they're taking multiple ships at one time.
They
right?
can. They can, yes. But I mean, I think in general, the scale of the island is just a lot bigger. So one thing that is a plus for Castaway Cay, I think, is what they didn't do. Right, so it is more undeveloped, but there's something that adds to the beauty of the island when it's less developed too. Yeah. So the getting out there, especially when you get towards the adult beaches and stuff, there's a little shack that cookies too, which is just terrible, right?
It is.
But I mean, it's small and it's not. Royal Caribbean has a big place because they have, a lot of people there every day. So you go out there, but it's kind of this wild landscape, and that's what's nice about Castaway Cay is what they didn't do. The problem is that with Lighthouse Point, they're trying to do a lot, I think, because they want to cater more to the, I don't want to say concierge type guest, but they're trying to get amenities out there that, there's some nice amenities at Castaway Cay too, but they're trying to make this thing for people who are have a lot more money to spend.
Well, they do.
Eventually end up charge and all that.
They want to compare. They want you to be able to look at there is a lot of reasons to choose Disney if you wanted that Disney theme and that Disney experience, but then if you also wanted that really fun island, they don't want you to not choose Disney because they don't have that right now.
Right.
Now they're going to have that. Now they're going to have that option for you.
Yeah.
And so it's going to appeal to a wider range of people who may have been either on the fence of or not willing to take a Disney cruise because just the amenities weren't as there. I mean, I'm told all the time that I'll get much more on a different ship for less money.
It's true.
But
there's a magic to the Disney cruise that's hard to put your finger on.
Yeah.
Especially if you have kids, and the kids club there is amazing and all that kind of stuff. And look, I enjoy myself on a Royal Caribbean cruise. Okay. I would go on another one. They send me things for a free cruise all the time now.
Yeah.
Because I lost just enough money in a casino for them to want to keep me coming back.
Well, that's the thing, right? Yeah.
So I loved it, but I think there's room for everybody here, right? Yeah. Lee just went on a Virgin cruise, said it was incredible, but it's a totally different experience. It's adults only. Right?
Okay,
Disney is, the opposite end of the there's no casino on a Disney cruise.
Right.
And it's about, and you think it's about kids, but like I don't have kids, and I've gone on Disney cruises, and you can go a whole cruise without almost seeing kids.
You really
Because they have their own section of the ship, and they don't want anything to do with whatever you got going on. Right? So I remember the first cruise I went on where I think we had the late dinner. And around the time dessert shows up, people from the kids club just show up and they would start sweeping people's kids away. And that way the adults go straight from dinner to the club or to play bingo or whatever people do on the ship. So I think Disney has a great formula for Disney Cruise Line. I think it's easy to enjoy with a family or with just adults. Obviously no casino, but their island is beautiful in its own way and lovely and a highlight of a lot of people's trips.
Yeah.
Royal Caribbean goes to the extreme. Now they have like a whole water park on their island.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's just two different type of animals.
Which I personally wouldn't enjoy anyway, so I don't need that. Like I don't enjoy.
No, but there's certainly a lot to do there, and it's certainly big, and there's just a lot of options.
Yeah.
And so I think Disney recognizes that they need to step that area up a little bit, and Lighthouse Point is the answer to that.
What feature of Lighthouse Point are you most looking forward to?
I don't really know. I haven't decided yet. I mean, they have some beautiful looking stuff, but I haven't delved too deep into it. We're putting our coverage plan together, the things that we want to make sure that we don't miss, and the other things. But just being on an island is fun, and quite frankly, I don't want to offend anyone. But Nassau is a terrible port visit, and most people just stay on the ship in Nassau anyway, right? Yeah. Nassau, do it once. It's kind of like climbing Mount Fuji. They said, wise man do it once, fool do it twice, right? It's just kind of like Nassau is like, I might get off and check the duty-free shop and then get back on.
Yeah. Lighthouse Point, they're supposed to have some more slides and things like that, right? Not what you'd call a water park, but I think they have some water rides, I think.
Yeah, and they have more of the cabanas and more of the kind of upcharge type experiences.
Right.
So
I wonder if the food will be better.
It can't be worse. There's no way it can be worse. Cookies 2 is...
It is pretty bad on
Cookies
Castaway
2... I've been to Castaway Key 4 times? 5 times.
Right.
Because one cruise I went on, we hit it twice. Worse than school lunch cafeteria of my childhood by far. I'm sorry, it is. It's not good. Everything else in my cruise line experience is wonderful. Disney Cruise Line is the best, from my opinion, the best cruise line I've been on.
Yeah.
Right? But the others offer things that I also want to experience.
Gotcha.
Bigger, longer itineraries, destinations Disney doesn't go to because of the size of their fleet, right? Well, now fast forward a year or two, and we're going to have now 7 ships in the fleet and growing. So Disney's going all in on this, and pretty soon they will be able to provide the what I really want to do is one of these places that goes all over Asia, and now Disney's going to be able to do that, right? They have a new ship that they bought basically in Asia that's going to become a Disney ship.
Yep.
And so that's, I would love to do that. Obviously, one day, if I had time and money, I would love to do some of these have 21-day cruises.
I know, right?
Disney has some repositioning
phenomenal
cruises you can go on that are pretty long, but some of these are, Panama. I think Disney does a Panama Canal.
They do.
I'd love to do a Panama Canal or Antarctica.
Yep.
All that kind of stuff.
They do Alaska,
Yeah, do Alaska. Obviously, those are great destinations.
Yeah.
So I think with the size of the fleet increasing, This is great. I just hope that the island is good because it is a media cruise, right? There's going to be a lot of
No
media
transportation, wet paint, bad food.
I mean, as someone who just went through this with Stage 89,
Right.
while we moved into a new office and built a new museum and everything, like I know what it's like to get close to the finish line and be like, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. It's a terrible feeling. It's a terrible feeling. So I hope they pull it off. Hope they pull it off better than they pulled off the Wish, because the Wish had a million factors working against it, right? This is coming out of COVID, brand new ship.
Well, yeah.
They're bringing it across, trying to hang light fixtures as they're on their way.
So what you're saying is this one has no excuse. So what's going on?
Right. Yeah, I mean,
But-
no, the workers have an excuse. The workers are, but the company is the one they set their own deadline.
Sure.
Right. If you set your own deadline and you don't meet it,
Yeah.
it's a company problem. It's probably not. The workers are probably busting their tails.
Yeah.
Right. The Imagineers and everybody else, they have to stay very far away from there, and they're out there working hard to get back and forth to the island or to this area of the island every day. And I'm sure it's a grind.
Now, is this a media cruise, or is this the first, like, one of the first cruises to the
So
island?
this happens to be, so we had already booked a cruise because we knew it was going to be Lighthouse Point opening. And then we found out the media event is on this same cruise.
Oh, okay.
So it is not exclusive to media. Anybody can go on this cruise.
Gotcha.
It's open to the public, but there will be, I'm sure, some media events and things like that.
So they will want to have their best foot forward because they know.
And they can pull it off.
Yeah.
If anybody can pull it off, Disney Cruise Line can pull it
All
off.
right. I'm excited.
I'm excited. So we come back from that.
Yeah.
The day we get back from that, I think, or the next day, Communicore Hall opens.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have Communicore Hall, and then finally we have all the construction walls basically down from the center of Epcot for the first time since 2020.
Yeah. That'll be really fascinating. I already still feel like kind of lost walking through that area.
Yeah.
Haven't really. Every time I go there, I don't really have my bearings yet. So it'd be great for the walls to come down to visit a few times and really kind of get a directional feel for what's there. I still don't necessarily always realize which way I'm looking or walking to get to where I want to go. So I can't wait for those walls to come down. I mean, Communicore, I don't know what the general consensus out there is. I think the building looks gorgeous, especially seeing it at night all lit up. I think it's a great piece of Epcot. I still don't really understand what I'm to experience inside, other than a meet and greet and some
There's an Encanto stage show,
spaces. Right, and that's outside though,
It's outside.
right?
There's a stage right outside of there.
Stage right outside.
You can see their speakers are already hung.
Yeah, I've
light
seen that.
fixtures, everything.
Yep. So you'll have the stage. That'll be Encanto, and that will be like just rotating experiences, I suppose. And then, but then inside the building itself, other than the meet and greet, are we going to have like festival related stuff in there, or is it just sit and recharge your phone area? I think
so. There's a lot going on. They're spinning a lot of plates right over there at Disney.
They're very ambiguous about what's going on.
At the same time, they're moving the DVC lounge from the Imagination Pavilion over to the Odyssey for a few weeks while they do something in there.
Yeah.
Move back. There's a lot of work. There's always a lot of work going on in these parks.
Yeah.
So keeping up with everything that's going on. I mean, I'm just ready to go in there and I'm just ready to have the walls down.
I know.
Honestly,
Same.
I'm just
That's
ready.
it.
I'm just ready to go in and walk through Epcot and have it feel like Epcot.
Yeah.
And it's never going to feel like the Epcot I grew up with. But to go back there and just kind of feel like I'm not being herded into one area. I feel like you can kind of walk and fan out through the park once those walls are down.
Yeah.
And I think right now, because of the walls, it feels like if I'm in the dead center of the park, World Celebration, is that what it's called?
Yeah, something like that.
I feel like it's an unappealing pathway to go over to like the Land Pavilion from there, with construction walls there, kind of wedged between there and Moana. Yeah. And I feel like it's much more welcoming to go over towards Test Track and all that stuff. And go the other direction, or just head straight back.
Right.
Right. So I think just to see it without construction walls is just going to I'm not going to say it's going to bring a tear to my eye, but it's certainly going to make me feel good.
Yeah, it'll feel really good. It'll feel really good.
Even when they opened up the center, and I and shortly thereafter started the new show, Luminous. Mm-hmm. I remember walking out and feeling like I feel like I'm leaving Epcot now.
Finally.
Like the lighting and all the way that Spaceship Earth is synced with the lights on the ground there and in that area. It made me feel like this isn't the same as the Epcot I grew up with, but it has this certain spirit that gives me the same like warm feeling inside. Like, oh, I just experienced a special place.
Yeah.
And that whoever did this understands that we just did something, right? We just had a day together of ups and downs, but we ended on a high.
Okay. I just at the end of the day, I still don't necessarily know what we accomplished. I mean, like that's why I want to see it in its full glory with the walls down. I want to understand how that building's going to play into Epcot. Obviously, the landscape just completely changed in that area. So I just can't wait. It's hard. I'm like you. I'm more anticipating just the walls being down so I go explore the area than actually what's there right now.
Yeah, I don't even care what's there, honestly.
Right.
The absence of construction walls is more important to me than what's there. At least in this moment.
In this moment,
The next day I might be like, oh, whatever they have in there is great, or whatever they have in there kind of is terrible, or whatever.
I mean, overall, I can't say whether it's better or worse, but I love the atmosphere there. Like you said, the lighting on the way out is amazing. If you're walking through that center area, the Walt statue is good. I love Moana, Journey of Water. I love that area. So I think overall it turned out well. It's one of those things like we've experienced a lot lately. The promise of what we thought it was going to be, I don't know if it panned out that way.
Right.
So when you said you were going to redevelop this area of Epcot, and then this is what you gave us, I mean, again, that's why it's just like, just get the walls down, let me walk through it, and let me just experience a hassle-free kind of stroll through Epcot.
Well, I've had like over 4 years to accept, like, I'm not going to have the Fountain of Nations and this big open plaza right here, right? That this is going to be a new thing. And it is weird because these are distinct areas. There's an area with some Adirondack chairs. There's like a seating area with what like a sports stadium would call loge seating these days, which is basically like a high chair or a standing like bar height type of thing. There's rusty trees over in another area. It looks like if you put a dome over it, we've called it like a college campus quad or something. It actually looks like if you put a dome over it, that it's almost like an airport terminal. Right, where a place where they're like, oh, some people are going to want to sit, some people are going to want to wrangle their kids over here, some people are going to want to get some work done over here. It looks like a place they intend for you to hang out.
Yeah.
Which is weird because before it was just a place they intended to like
get you through.
So
that's a good way of looking at it. And I think it's working because I always see people hanging out there.
I want to hang out there.
And there's places for characters. I don't mind the eclectic look of this place. Like at first that bothered me, and now it's like, no, I kind of think it's fine. Like there is these different areas where you could choose to kind of hang out, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be inviting, like it's your own neighborhood. Like it's just this place where this community can gather, and you could go see a show now off to one side. When that opens, you could go walk through Moana's Journey of Water. You could meet a character. You could sit. I see people sitting there on their laptops all the time. I want to do that.
I want to do that all day. Day. Now the problem is, like, I have this smaller laptop now. People, eagle-eye viewers will notice I normally had the MacBook Pro. I gave it to Tom. Because Tom's in Tokyo, he's trying to like upload and edit these videos. He's like, I don't have the storage space. I go, look, I got a new MacBook Pro. Take it. I have a desktop, but I have this very small.
How's that working
laptop.
out for you?
I don't know.
You can barely see it.
I don't use it. I only use it on the podcast right now. But I would go work there, but I have bad eyesight, so I have to sit there under a tree squinting all day long. But I think it'd be a fun place to get some work done.
It would
Put in your AirPods, get a conference call done. You know, go there, work an editor. I'll take an editor shift from someone.
Sure.
And that'd be weird.
No, I think it works. I think it can be. I use Disney as my office from time to time. If I feel like, every couple of weeks I because I work from home.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I do, and I pick a resort. Usually it's not out at a park. I haven't tried that yet, but usually it's at a resort. But I wouldn't mind trying Epcot once, because it's secluded enough. It's not very loud either. So
That's weird, right? Because you are in the center of the park. Everybody walks past there, but it's not
loud at all. It's not loud. It's not crowded.
It feels secluded.
Yeah.
Well, certain parts of it do anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's weird. I think it's awesome. Right after that, then,
It is weird.
media event for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which
Yes.
officially opens on the 28th, June 28th.
Yep.
What are your feelings?
Super excited. So we brought this up briefly on the last podcast.
Yeah.
You asked me my emotion. It's joy.
Oh, that angry.
Yeah.
Angry, anxiety, joy.
I'm really excited.
Fear.
I think this is one of those times when the thing that is replacing the thing is going to be just as good, if not better. I really, really do.
I agree. It's going to be hard to replace the sort of sentimental feelings that people had for what they experienced at Splash Mountain, but undeniably, these are going to be better animatronics, right?
Looks like it.
It is beautiful. They're trying very hard with the story that I don't fully comprehend, but in general, like this ride, it's going to be it's going to be the same ride experience, right? You're going to have different things to look at and different sounds in your head. But it was the most fun ride at the Magic Kingdom before, and I don't see how it won't be the most fun ride at the Magic Kingdom now.
I'm always excited for new things. I always go in giving pretty much anything the benefit of the doubt, right? So if something's changing, if something's new, one of the hard things about working here, though, is we hear things or know things that your average person wouldn't know.
Right.
So, at times, that could kind of taint things a little bit, makes things a little bit disappointing, right? So, if I hear from Tom one more time what Guardians of the Galaxy was, and then was chopped down to, then chopped down to again, then okay, I really enjoy that ride. But every time I go on it, I can't help but think, oh, this is what it could have been.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why didn't they just go all out and give me that all out experience? So, but with Tiana, I'm not feeling that. I'm not hearing that. And so I'm going into this one very, very excited. And I don't think there's going to be anything holding me back from that excitement. So, I try not to hold things precious anymore because I know that things only have a short, things can be changed at any time. So enjoy them while they're there. If things get changed, okay. I say that. Yeah, I have to say this. We can come back to Tiana in a second. But I was livid the other day when I went to Scat Cats. So
I love Scat Cats now.
Oh, well,
I took a lot of heat in the chat here because it was I think was at one point like maybe one of the only bars I haven't been to on property. Now I've been like 3 times.
When'd you go? You go recently?
In the last like 2 months, I've been like 2 or 3 times.
So they just changed their menu.
What'd they get rid of?
Everything. They revamped their menu. So the thing I like the most, they had it at Scat Cats. They also had it at River Roost. The loaded potato barrels. Absolutely phenomenal. Best ones on property. Pulled pork. The best cheese. Those little toppings, right? They had it forever. Went there the other day specifically for that because when you get something in your head, you get that little craving, right?
Is that what the gumbo poutine replaced?
Yes. Do you like the gumbo poutine? Was that any good?
I thought it was good.
Oh, see, I didn't even try it. I tried like these nachos that they had there. They were freaking awful. They were just
I didn't like
soggy
the nachos, but I love the gumbo poutine.
I'll have to give that a
Spicy.
try. Okay, well, good. I'll have to give that a try. So you went after they changed the menu.
Yes.
Then. Okay. No, they got rid of. That was one of my favorite things on property, and that goes back to like the menu change at Geyser Point when they got rid of the cheesy biscuit thing.
Yeah.
Or brisket.
Cheesy biscuit brisket.
Yeah, it was a biscuit.
Speaking of cheesy biscuits, can we pour one out for Red Lobster shutting down so many stores? The Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Oh man.
No more cheddar. Anyway.
No, so that's the problem with like holding things so precious, right? You get disappointed because it's gonna change. And so I was just so upset that night. And by the way, I don't know what's going on. The last 2 times I've been, they did not make me a good Sazerac. So I don't know what's happening over there.
I loved it.
But the menu completely changed. And other than the beignets, they still have the boozy beignets. But I was just so disappointed at that. And like, who comes in and changes the menu? I know for a fact.
Culinary.
It's one of those items, though, Eric, that every time you go in and you say to the waiter, they like ask you what you want. I'm like, no, I don't need time. I know exactly what I want because I get this every time. Like, oh yeah, that's the best, isn't it? I get that all the time. Like, it's one of those menu items where the waiter tells you that everybody loves that, where everybody orders it, where it's a favorite. How did those things leave the menu? I just don't get it.
That happened at Dahlia. They overturned the menu and they got rid of the ham and cheese bocadillo. My favorite, snack on property.
Yeah.
My favorite. Well, I don't know if it's not a meal. It's not a snack. It's a sandwich. It's shareable. I talk about it all the time. I dream about it.
Yeah.
And I got a hot tip from someone that it's going away. So I went to say my final goodbye to it the day before they got rid of it.
I wish I had a heads up.
And people that worked there told me, this is the most popular thing. People love this thing. So what I think happened, this decision didn't come from the venue, right? It came from culinary, like some overlord somewhere. And I think what they feel like is like, I'm hired to come up with dishes. So I can't leave anything. It's like, we used to call it chimping the dials. So at my last, 2 companies ago, one of my previous jobs, they would bring in a manager, and the manager, if something worked, it didn't matter. They would still want to like spin the dials. Like a chimpanzee, they see dials and they just want to spin them, right? That's what we call it.
Yeah.
They just like, oh, I'm hired to spin dials, so let's spin dials instead of like, let's just stick with what works, what people likes. So you have a culinary team that feels like they're hired to innovate and do stuff with the menu, which means they have to get rid of stuff people like and try to come up with something new. Leave it alone, man. Leave it alone. I'm okay with you tweaking some of it, but they've been knocking out a lot of favorites. The cheesy brisket was a property-wide favorite, right? The ham and cheese bocadillo. I've heard these potato barrels forever.
Yeah.
Right?
So good.
And I have had them at River Roost, so I do remember them. So that's unfortunate, though. Sometimes people just come in and start, it's like a scene from the Jungle Cruise.
I feel like I don't know. I'm curious if they changed something in the Sazerac, like they're using a different whiskey or something like that now. Something's different. We're 2 times in a row. Maybe it's a bad bartender. Maybe I just missed out. I got a bad bartender a couple times that didn't mix it right. I don't know. It was just like, that's one of my favorite places on property, and to have back-to-back kind of bad experiences there just kind of stinks. But
it's still cool. I don't know what nights the band plays, but I've been on weekends. I've been there on weekends. I don't know if they play Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I think it's Thursday through Sunday,
Okay. They're fantastic.
They are.
They are fantastic. And I could just, that's not even my thing. Like, I'm not a person that has ever in my life said, you know what I want to do? Sit around in a lounge and listen to like a slow jazz band.
Yeah.
Right? But it's a cool vibe. I love it.
That was crazy. I remember hearing it. I think this is where I heard it, like listening to you and Tom talk, like one time that was the one lounge that you had never been to, and that was crazy.
So I'd met friends there, and I didn't know better, and we were out. The lounge was closed. We were out in that. There's like a counter service right outside of Scat Cats.
Right.
So we were there, and it was pretty like they had a bartender, but it was kind of like,
okay.
I didn't actually go into the lounge. I don't know if it's a COVID thing or what, but I don't often find myself at French Quarter.
No, I get that.
So no, I make it a point to go back. In fact, when Hillary's here, I'm going to say, let's go to Scat Cats.
Nice.
She wants to do stuff she's never done.
Yeah.
Right. So she's done. Look, she's come here a lot because I've lived in Florida for a long time, and my dad lived in Florida a long time when she'd come down, and but she's like, I want to do stuff I've never done. I want to go to Hoop-Dee-Doo Review. I want to go
right there.
to do.
Yeah, we're in the shirt.
Look at you, So we may try to make that happen. We
Sorry, I keep trying to move, and the camera kept changing, and I was like,
in this time in between the media event and during kind of the previews of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, they're also closing Test Track.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah.
Time's up. Old Test Track is going. Second version of Test Track is going away. right?
Yeah.
I guess it's the second version.
It is.
The Chevy.
Well, yeah, 2.0. Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. I just
too.
don't know how aggressive they'll be because of all the rides at Disney, at any Disney park, it's the only one where they don't give a damn about whether or not you see the loading dock and deliveries and where the manager parked their car. Like, it blows my mind that they just take you backstage on test track and let you like look around and see like, I'm sorry, but like the not stage ready parts of Disney World, right? Where you're just looking at, hey, there's a guy emptying the grease traps from the restaurant next door. It's weird to me that they do that. And so I don't think that they're going to, I think they would make a big deal out of it if they were going to do something cool where they put up walls or put up, I mean, I don't expect them to do Radiator Springs Racers, which would be amazing, but it wouldn't fit with Epcot. I haven't heard anything about them cramming IP into it, which is a bizarre temptation.
We know very little, right? Like we saw a few concepts, but I don't know how much that means.
The concept art. When I see concept art, like my eyes glaze over.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's kind of fuzzy and kind of like I'm not sure what that. Tom's like a Hawkeye with concept art. I'm the opposite, right? I just go, I don't know, look pretty bluish and fuzzy. So we'll see. But Bob Iger did say like, the future of the parks is going to be, studio IP, and a lot of people got upset with that because you think about it, if they were to do that today, if they had done that 40 years ago or 50 years ago, no Orange Bird, no Figment, no Pirates of the Caribbean, no Haunted Mansion, no Jungle Cruise, no almost nothing.
I would love if they somehow incorporated like Lightning and Mater and something into that attraction. I'd be totally on board with that. You don't have to give me a full out Radiator Springs, but what if it was Lightning and Mater, potentially animatronics talking to me about testing cars and doing something with cars, and then they sent me on a little trip and something went wrong. So that'd be kind of cool.
The reason I don't think they'll do that is because this has been a Chevy deal for a long time. So Chevy's deal's up, but they have renewed. They're just like, okay, we renew our deal, but we got to update this bad boy. So I think that it will be something about a Chevy experience. I don't know if that means they're going to try to make it like an electric vehicle type experience or smart vehicles. I don't know what they got planned, but I don't think that they're going to do a Cars thing, because if they were, I think they would have pumped us up and told us about it a while back.
Sure.
I don't think that they do that stuff ahead of time. I don't think they're going to wait until the ride is closed to go, oh, by the way, this is going to be,
and
Mater's rollicking race or whatever they're going to call it.
And there's nothing pointing to the idea that the track is changing in any way or anything
they're not
like
gonna
that.
change it.
They're not going to change anything.
There's no way.
It's just just an overlay change, a story change, I guess.
Well, they want to add some World of Motion elements to it, right? They want it to be evocative of the source material. So there's going to be some nods to original World of Motion in there, which I'm okay with.
Yeah,
I think
I loved it. That was my favorite growing up. That like Over Horizons.
Yeah, I loved World of Motion too. I loved them both.
Yeah,
they were both right there for me.
Yeah,
I go on Mission Space once every 4 years now. It's not a thing I do. Wonders of Life is dead.
Yeah.
Right. Energy is obviously a roller coaster now.
Yeah.
So there's some guy. I don't know why I'm going to talk about this. There's some guy. I don't know who he is, but people ask me if I knew who King of Epcot was. And he's a guy. He's like a Gen Z guy who walks around calling himself King of Epcot. I'm like, how do you call yourself King of Epcot when you never rode Horizons, never rode World of Motion, never been in the Wonders of Life Pavilion, never went on the original Universe of Energy, never went on like the original version of Imagination, never went on like, Listen to the Land, never did Kitchen Cabaret. Like, what exactly are you declaring yourself king of?
The new Epcot.
The king of new.
Why not?
I'll let him say that. That's cool. I don't have anything against whoever it is. Let him say I'm the king of new Epcot.
No,
I'm not sure that's the title I want to tell people about.
I feel like Epcot more than any other Disney park or entity. Like there was always this, and I don't. Not playing gatekeeper here or anything like this. Whatever you get into, because I enjoy new generation who never experienced it being really into the idea of old Epcot. That's really cool. And I feel like Epcot, more than anything else, park-wise here at Disney World, there are people who didn't experience the original that are really into it. Yeah. Really, really into the history of like Horizons and old Epcot and the way it was. More than like, people caring about like, I mean, a lot of the original Magic Kingdom.
But like, I didn't experience the original Viking culture in Scandinavia.
Okay, well, no.
And I'm interested in it. I'm glad people let me learn about it. But I haven't declared myself king of the Vikings.
I think I think all those attractions though were very kitschy, very very interesting, out of the ordinary to people who like newer fans who didn't experience them, right? And so I don't know. There's this thing, so that's probably where it stemmed from. I look, if the guy wants to call him king of Epcot, that doesn't, That's just,
no, does he have like I just think people are laughing at him.
Does he have a? Does he wear a? Like a crown?
I heard he has a crown. I don't know.
Does he do a crown? Does he have a throne? Does he have a YouTube channel? Is this like a thing?
I mean, was King Vitamin the King of Vitamins? Remember the cereal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to see this guy. I want to see him. Does he walk around Epcot? Can I find him?
I don't know.
I got to find this guy.
I don't know. It just people told me about it because Jason got a license plate that basically declares himself the king of Epcot, which is probably a more legitimate claim to the throne.
I'd agree that. But if I ever ran into the king of Epcot at Epcot, I would literally kneel down before him just to see what happens.
I want to see. I'll take a picture.
Yeah.
We'll set up a king of Epcot. Send us a message. We'll set up a meet and greet.
Yeah. I want to be a knight. I want to be a knight of the Epcot table.
Yeah.
Yes.
What I think is funny is, I try to not read the comments too much, right? Try not to care about the comments, but every now and then someone makes a comment, and I don't know if it was on News Today or on the podcast or something, and they're like, oh, Disney's about to get boat raced because all they're doing is redecorating Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Universal's opening DreamWorks Land and a new nighttime show and a new projection show on Hogwarts Castle. I'm like, all right, well, we know the projection show on Hogwarts Castle is something that you could probably bang out in an hour and a half.
Right.
Right? And a new nighttime show on the lagoon at Universal Studios Florida. It's a tiny lagoon, and their shows are usually bad, so anything's an improvement. And holy crap, have you seen DreamWorks Land?
Yeah.
It looks
a little bit.
awful.
Do we have...
It looks... Annie said it's awful on the Universal channel, and she got dragged for it. People are like, you don't know what you're talking about. It is, Jake, do we have pictures of some of these? Like, they just put like flats and cut out like pieces of plywood painted with like DreamWorks. There we go. Look at this. This used to be the ball factory where you could shoot like balls and stuff. Look at a painted flat tree and like a LED screen of Poe.
What?
Like, I don't know exactly what they're trying to. This looks like something from a junior high play.
What is this? Just like a store
They just
display?
cut the budget and cut the budget and cut the budget again. So look at that. Look at these little bushes on the front of the stage. I mean, look at that. Come on. This is one of the richest companies in the world.
Is that what that is? That stage? Is there a show on that?
I guess it's a meet and greet. I don't know what it is. It's a Poe thing.
I don't know what's going on.
Show us something else, Jake. Oh, there we go. The entrance to the land. What is it? Oh, a cutout.
Nah.
It's just a cutout with a decal. This is what I was afraid they were going to do with Tiana's Bayou Adventure. This looks like Bob Chapek got hired by Universal. It looks like is that plywood with a decal on it that says DreamWorks?
It might be.
I don't know, but it looks cheap. Oh, look at the entrance to the roller coaster.
Wow.
It's just a painted look. The dude's hair on the. I don't know the name of the trolls, right?
I mean, it looks like
look at his hair. It has like the white back. They couldn't even like cut the cutout to shape. They're just like, just leave it there. It looks like a sticker. And they do all this, and you're like, by the way, this is not a new roller coaster. This is the Woody Woodpecker roller coaster. They painted a roller coaster and they painted a bathroom. Some of the Shrek stuff I think looks pretty good, but they essentially moved a meet and greet. Like that looks okay.
That's fine.
They moved a meet and greet. But they already had a donkey meet and greet. They have this. So that used to be where the Fievel like water slide was. And now they just put in like a McDonald's Playland slide. But like I like the little like rope bridge thing.
Some of this reminds me of Sesame Place at Busch Gardens.
Right? So it's tacky and cheap looking.
Yeah.
And the defense is, how dare you say this? The kids will love it. Kids will love this. Kids love playing in mud puddles. right? That's not the idea of going to a theme park that costs over $100 to get into, right? Is that you elevate this experience. This is a McDonald's Playland or a Sesame Place. This is not up to Universal standards.
DreamWorks is a giant movie studio.
Yeah, you're a giant movie studio, and this is what you have. This is what you're telling me your movie franchises are.
Yeah.
Is painted flats and cutouts. This is garbage. And little kids, I get it. If little kids love it, that's great. But little kids will love pretty much anything. You could go to a toxic waste dump and have Shrek and Donkey wander out, and the kids would love it.
Right.
Right? So the kids that love it is not a good enough excuse for this failure. Right? They're spending billions of dollars down the road at Epic Universe to do something that they're claiming the world has never seen before. And then what they're showing us they're capable of, the teaser for this land, is on a level that's so low that it's way beneath Universal to do this. Yeah. And no offense to whoever worked on it, they probably had a budget. And the budget was probably about the price of a luxury car for the whole land, right? Here's $10,000 for paint, Here's another $3,000 for plywood. And then let us know if you need anything else. Oh yeah, we'd like to do an animatronic. Nope. I just think it's embarrassing for Universal, and the people defending it were saying like, "Oh, poor Annie." They're saying like she doesn't deserve to have a job as a reporter because this is so negative. And you're like, if all you want is a reporter to just tell you like that everything's great, like why are you even bothering looking at their review?
That's insane.
She was just very upset because Woody Woodpecker IP doesn't resonate with kids as much as maybe it used to. But the Woody Woodpecker Kid Zone was better than that. It was, but you had the ball factory, and like she said, it looks like they start out okay. You get the Shrek stuff, and the further you get back, you can see them running out of money.
Oh, so Shrek stuff was like kind of up front.
Well, the Shrek stuff is kind of nice. Yeah,
it looked fine. It looked like his hut.
Okay.
Yeah,
it looked like what you might expect.
Could you go in that little hut?
No, you can't.
No,
you can't.
No, you can't go in that little hut.
So I just, I don't like to compare Disney and Universal because the reason I like them both is because they're different things and they scratch a different itch for me.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go I'm not going to go to the Kid Zone much anyway. I didn't discover the ball factory until it was almost closed. Too bad. But I mean, I just think for a Fortune, Comcast is bigger than Disney, right? A Fortune 100 company, certainly.
Yeah.
And then a studio in DreamWorks that's gigantic to crap out something like this is insulting.
I thought it was going to look like a little studio, like you were going into a studio maybe and going to different parts. I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect that.
I thought they might at least have animatronics.
Just like
it's a Kid Zone, right? You're not going to break the bank on it.
No.
They got a little play area. It's tiny. It's a cover. I didn't put it. I don't think I had a picture of that. Little play area. It's kind of tiny and covered. I don't really care about these type of splash pads and stuff.
Yeah.
What I do like, Universal does put those like dryers in, so you can stand in there and like the air just blasts you and dries you off. I like that. But in general, I think I would be embarrassed to cut the ribbon on that place and say, "Welcome to DreamWorks Land."
Yeah.
This land that we spent $150,000 on, or what?
I don't know. The Trolls one really got me. Like that looked really cheap. The
roller coaster entrance is the worst thing there, right? In terms of like what sets it off as just looking cheap is that entrance to the roller coaster.
Yeah.
And that's really unfortunate. I liked that 5 water slide they got rid of, by the way. But I get it, right? You don't want to have to hire someone to manage that, and it probably didn't have a very high ride capacity. And those type of rides are hauling the raft back up and all that kind of stuff is a pain in the butt. So
I'm trying to even think of a comparison. I mean, is there we make fun of Toy Story Land, but I mean at least it's 3D. At least it's
no. I mean, I would say along the
like
same lines
stuff.
though. You have a multi-billion-dollar franchise in Toy Story that they went pretty cheap on. Like there's artwork, there's stickers peeling off of walls at Toy Story Land. Like they went cheap, but it's more three-dimensional than this.
Right.
This is garbage.
Yeah.
Someone should be fired.
No, there are definitely cheap issues with Toy Story Land and places where they could have designed things better, but visually, if you're just looking at it, it's more alive than what I just saw there.
Yeah, no, it's awful. I think what they should have done. I'm selfish. This is selfish, Eric saying this. I think what they should have done is put a little kid play area, a small area, right? Not a whole land. Just your kids need a little splash zone or whatever. Put a little area there. Who cares which one of your IPs you make it, right? Make it Trolls. the Trolls splash pad, kid play area. And it's, I don't know, 50 by 50. Kids just need to scratch that little play around itch a little bit.
Okay.
They don't need any place to spend all day. And then bulldoze everything else. And then you put permanent structures in for Horror Nights.
Oh, okay.
Because right now, Horror Nights is a big seller for them. They make a ton of money on Horror Nights, but you get to the back houses there, and they're all like in these like rigid tents and metal build. Like the ones that are on like the sound stages are always like awe-inspiring to look at. You get to the back, and they're like, all right, like I get
That'd
like
be interesting.
They were able to route it around and do this and make this little tent feel bigger than it is and all that kind of stuff. But I would rather see them invest in Horror Nights. But maybe they could have done that because this thing is more terrifying than any HHN house I've ever been to. I'm just aghast. I'm mostly aghast that people were defending this pile of garbage.
That's weird. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them were defending it vigorously.
So these are like comments on Annie's
Oh, yeah,
posts
like
about
Annie
it?
should lose her job.
Wow.
I can't. Now I know why you guys are like banned on Reddit.
I don't know.
You're like,
They're
what?
just-
Because we didn't like something? Because she's like gave an honest opinion about something?
I mean, there's
that's
also
not,
just
that's
people that
obviously
don't like us.
not good.
Yeah.
I'm glad the kids like it.
Whatever.
Kids like whatever you put in front of them.
But you know what did get good comments, Eric? Our podcast last week.
Oh, yeah?
Katie
I
was
think
reading me
the
some.
magic of bringing Nick into the studio has been really good.
Yeah, so.
You know, I appreciate that.
Oh, you know, it's good to be around. It's good.
I called Tom, or Tom called me. I don't know. He's in Tokyo, and I said I had Nick on. He goes, "Oh, really?" He said that would probably be good. I was like, "Yeah, I might just keep having him on."
Sure.
And Tom's like, "You should totally do that." So if you're willing,
Am I
Nick,
committed now?
if you're willing,
What do you think, Gertie?
I'd like to have you back on a semi-regular basis. Oh, Gertie says yes.
I could come back every week. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Maybe you and I can host one together. Yes. Oh, look at that. Me and Gertie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to, and we could come up with some fun things to do. I think we
We
could
do
have a
some
good time
fun
with
topics.
this.
I feel like the soul of this podcast is that we're usually kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
But
I feel
what has happened
yeah.
today is we've been very focused on the things that are coming up. And I said some bad stuff. I said mean things about Universal.
Oh.
I said semi-mean things about what's happening out on an island in the middle of the Caribbean that I've never been to.
Horrible things.
But in general, I'm excited about all these things. And I like change, right? I don't like having to wait for change, but I like the anticipation of a new thing. And I went on a test track the other day. It's fine.
You know, it's
But
funny.
It's fine, but I'm excited for it to change.
Yeah, I feel like as Epcot starts to open up more and like take down some of these walls and the sections over, like it correlates with the amount of time I start to spend there again, right?
Yeah.
Like so I've noticed me saying, I think I'll go to Epcot. There was a period of time where I was like just avoiding Epcot, like, you know, for a while. Now I've been there a good amount of times. So yeah, I am, I'm in a period right now where I'm kind of rekindling my love affair with the Disney parks a little bit. Like there was, I had talked about this on, I think, News Tonight before. There was this period of time, like kind of post-COVID, where I realized I didn't need the parks as much.
Yeah.
And so like finding the happy balance again, where it's not like I'm going as much as I was back in the day, but I'm starting to go a lot more and enjoy things a lot more. So, but yeah, it's you know, it's exciting. I'm excited for the different things that are coming to the parks, and I'm kind of rediscovering things since I haven't been going as much recently as I once did. Kind of, you know, seeing some new stuff, and it's nice. It was nice taking a little break for a little while, and now I'm kind of getting back into it.
I'm a big Epcot person. Part of it is just it's the easiest park to. I think it's the easiest park to go to as a local. It's just like you can get in,
really
get out
is.
real easily.
It really is.
You know, Magic Kingdom, you got to deal with transportation issues and all that kind of stuff. Epcot, you can kind of just pull in there. The walk is you. Epcot's parking lot looks big and terrifying from like Google Maps.
Yeah,
but it's actually maybe the best parking lot for getting in and out of the park. Like, although, okay, Jake and I got lost the other day, right, Jake?
Uh-oh, where?
Yes, we did.
We parked at Epcot.
Oh,
And we
you
got
forgot
distracted
where.
walking back to the car. And next thing you know, we overshot our row by like 5 rows. And I'm like, I know it was by one of these, hey signs or whatever. And we looked back, and it took a minute. I used to have this bright blue Ford Explorer. Couldn't miss it. But now I have like a gray car.
Yeah.
And
That's funny.
I don't notice it. It's just,
Yeah.
I just don't notice it anymore. Anything else? You got any big plans for the big weekend coming up, Memorial Day weekend?
I don't think so. No. This weekend is it's really. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I really don't have anything this weekend. I have some plans on Memorial Day itself, but other than that, nothing big coming up. I am planning a trip over. I have been going over to Busch Gardens a bit more lately, so I've been trying to go about once a month. So
Really?
I've been there. Yeah. Because I always have a pass there, and I haven't been going as much as I would like. I haven't been utilizing that pass, but it is. I've just been finding that going over there are no lines. Like especially right now pre-summer, so I'm trying to get in a lot before summer break. Because I know that's a bit of a local park too. It has a lot of Tampa residents that are there. So if you're able to go before the summer, so I have been doing that a lot, and I've been SeaWorld a few times. So I've been kind of going to the other guys a little bit lately.
I haven't been to Busch Gardens forever. I lived in Tampa for over 10 years.
Okay.
So it was just never on my list, right? I used to play golf at a place called Rogers Park.
Yeah.
It's like a cheap municipal golf course that you could, like when they were building Falcon's Fury, it was a great place to aim when you were teeing off on a couple of the holes, It was nearby. You could hear the screams from Busch Gardens and all that kind of stuff. Usually, Busch Gardens is a different type of experience, right?
It is.
You go to the Yingling Brewery there?
I don't know.
I go to
some
it's
other
not
brewery.
attached, right? But you go up there just north of Busch Gardens, not even a mile.
Is it right there?
Is the Yingling? It's where, like, obviously Yingling has their original brewery. It's like the oldest brewery in America or something. It's in Pottsville or Pottstown, Pennsylvania, one of them. And but at least as of the last time I toured the one in Tampa, about 70% of Yingling's beer is brewed in Tampa.
Wow.
And it's a free tour, and they give you a couple free samples, and it's neat because you go in their chemistry lab, and it's super old school. It feels like it's the 50s or 60s.
I have to check this out.
Yeah, you're in there, and they have the guy. He may not be there anymore. There used to be a guy named Randy. He was like, he's like the guy that tasted all their beer.
Oh, okay.
And everyone would be like, "Oh, how did I get Randy's job?" He just
goodness,
like,
I want to check that out.
Drink the beer. It was great. The Yingling Breweries, they had a great gift shop. There was a time in my life when I drank a lot of Yingling beer, so it was a nice little visit. But it's free. It's maybe takes an hour.
Okay.
It's pretty cool, and get you some free beer.
Love it. All right.
Yeah, check it out sometime.
Yeah.
All those hidden gems in Tampa.
Oh, so many hidden gems.
No, I haven't been in a while, but it's possible they charge $1,000 for this tour now, and I'm giving you old information.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. They do have a lot of great breweries, though, in Tampa. I mean, that's part of the reason why I go over to Busch Gardens so often, because it is a good place if you like craft beer.
Does Busch Gardens still have the thing where you can pop your head up in the middle of like a tiger exhibit? Jungala? Is that what you go through like a little tunnel, and then they have a glass dome, and you can pop your head up in the middle of the tiger enclosure, and like you could be right next to the tiger and like get an up close look. That's pretty cool.
The other day, the tiger
awesome.
was like across the water the other way, but it was pretty cool.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
If only they had that like in other places where you could.
I'm pretty sure Bronx Zoo has one of those too. I remember I have pictures of me as a kid. Yeah.
Disney should do that.
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't you like to get in there close with
It would be cool.
with the lions?
Yeah.
I want to go out to where the otters are. Get up
Animal
close.
Kingdom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Otter Grotto pop-up window.
That would be really cool if they had those pop-up windows for different animals. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm about that life. Well, Nick, I think we're coming to the end of this discussion.
Yeah.
Do you have any other final thoughts before we go?
You know what? I don't, Eric. I have no final
I just want to say we've been watching the WIGS. I haven't been interacting with you guys very much in here, but the WIGS are here live in Discord. At the WIGS at the $7 and up level get to watch us record this stupidity live, and then they get to, or they can just watch it whenever. It's up for them permanently, or at least for a while. And that, if you want to be a WIGS member, you go to patreon.com/WDWNT. And as I say, you can also go to wdwnt.com/Patreon. We idiot-proofed it.
Do it.
Also, something kind of new, kind of old, kind of new. The WDWNT app has finally been updated.
Oh, it's about time.
It only took us a few years.
A few.
But we got it updated, and you could do things that people kind of complained about before, like, oh, I'm a Disney person, I don't want Universal News. You can set your filters in it, right?
Cool.
This, I want only Disney News, or I want this or that. And we no longer have like the 50th logo looking type of artwork. Apparently that's hard.
That was on there for a while.
That was on there for a long time. So the funny part is, like, we would call Disney to task and like not getting right. They still have 50th statues up and whatever. And people would be like, well, look at your app. And so we talked to the development team, and we're like, can you just swap out the logo? They're like, no, we have to rebuild the whole app. We're like, what? So all I could think of, the only analogy that makes sense is like, I want to paint my door red. Okay, we just have to knock down your house tomorrow and rebuild it. Like, what? So finally the app is up. If you go to the, wherever you get your apps, the app stores, the Play Store, all those places you can get. I think it's on Play Store. I know it works for Apple. I don't have an Android phone anymore, so I don't know. But check it out, the app. Get all the news right there in your pocket, and you can set your filters to learn about what you care about and what you block out, what you don't.
I guess the only other thing I need to say is this podcast, I decided to go to Celebration Brewery after the recording instead of before. So I'm not sure which recording turned out better, so people will have to let us know if you enjoyed let us know
in the comments.
Last week's version of Nick or this week's version of Nick.
I try not to interrupt people when we're watching and go, please please subscribe, share it.
Yeah.
But please do that. We're trying to get the viewership of this podcast up a little bit. And I think, like I said, it's disappointing to me when an episode that people often message me and go, oh man, that was a really good one, that it's one of them that like not that many people watch.
Gotcha.
For whatever reason. So maybe that's my fault. But yeah, help me out here. Help us with the algorithm. Give it the thumbs up. Share it. Make a comment. Hopefully it's nice. I know some of the Universal people are going to come at me. It's okay. They've been coming at Annie. They can come at me. I'm a Universal pass holder. I pay for it myself. I love Universal, but holy crap, that's bad.
Yeah.
And if you disagree with me, we can disagree like adults. You don't have to say that I should lose my job.
And if we can't disagree
Gertie
like
will come
adults,
get you.
we'll take it outside.
Take it outside with Gertie.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on the WDW News Today podcast.
See ya real soon.
There you go. Bye-bye.